Do you want to become the best Zed player who single-handedly carries his team to victory? Well, look no further, because in 11 minutes you will receive all the necessary Zed knowledge to go from this to this. 100% guaranteed result, by the way. In order to dominate with Zed, it is especially important to understand the abilities. Let's start with his passive, which allows him to deal bonus magic damage on enemies who are below half health, and the damage is dealt based on the enemy's maximum health. This passive only affects the basic attacks and can be used once every few seconds. So in case you go to combo your enemy, then try to get in also one auto attack to proc the passive for maximum damage output. That of course when enemy's health is below 50%. First ability is Razor Shuriken, where Zed throws Shuriken which deals damage to enemies in its path. It's worth knowing that the Shurikens deal damage separately, but it deals more damage to the first target it hits. When you combine it with Zed's second ability, or with his ultimate's Shadow, then you can hit enemy with multiple Shurikens. This is excellent ability to harass and also last hit minions in case you are against ranged champion. Second ability is Living Shadow, that allows Zed's Shadow to dash forward and remain in place for a short duration, while Zed can reactivate the ability to switch places with the Shadow. Really important part of this ability is its passive, that restores energy whenever Zed and his Shadows strike an enemy with the same ability. So if you place the Shadow, and land the Shurikens on enemy, then you will get good chunk of energy back, and the same happens with Zed's third ability. Third ability is Shadow Slash, that is a melee area of effect ability, which damages and slows enemies near Zed and his Shadows. What is really nice about Shadow Slash is that each enemy struck by Shadow Slash will reduce the cooldown of Living Shadow by 2 seconds. So in some cases you might be able to use Living Shadow immediately after Shadow disappears. Zed's ultimate called Death Mark targets an enemy champion and marks them. After a short duration, the mark triggers which deals a base damage plus a portion of all damage dealt while the mark was active. So it means the more damage you deal, the more damage the mark will deal. Also the moment Death Mark is cast Zed becomes untargetable, which is great for avoiding targeted abilities. A Shuriken mark will appear on top of the enemy if the Death Mark's damage is fatal, although it's not guaranteed that they will die, because of shields or healing that they may receive. Recasting the ultimate will take you back to the point where you initially casted it. That's pretty much all you need to know about the abilities, but later on we will go more in depth how exactly to use those abilities once we speak about the combos, that are really important part of playing Zed. This is the ability order for Zed. Razor Shuriken first, Shadow Slash second, Living Shadow third, and always get a point in your ultimate if possible. When it comes to runes then there are two builds you need to know about. Since Zed is a burst damage champion, then first rune that synergizes really well by adding even more burst damage to his kit, is Electrocute. This is the most common rune page you should run most of the time because it is excellent to take out those squishy enemy champions. Brutal for that extra damage, Hunter Titan for more health and tenacity to survive the fights, and then Hunter Genius for cooldown reduction that Zed relies on. Second rune page would be Conqueror, that you want to go for in case you face tanky enemy team because it really helps to shred those beefy enemies. Doesn't matter what your matchup is, Zed should always go with Flash Ignite. For the items you should go with Ghost Blade, which is Zed's one of the core items as it gives all three things he needs the most, which is loads of damage with 10% armor penetration, ability haste that he needs badly to be able to use his combos and ultimate as often as possible, and also that sweet passive which gives Zed movement speed to roam to other lanes. Second core item is Dusk Blade which is similar to Ghost Blade, except that it gives little bit more armor penetration, and the passive gives him more damage. Third item should be Black Cleaver, that is also really good on Zed. It gives a ton of ability haste, it reduces enemies armor by up to 24%. It gives some more damage. Also it gives a very nice amount of health to survive as Zed is pretty squishy and often ends up being in the middle of the fights. And at the top of everything it gives movement speed too. Now fourth and fifth items are more situational. Many builds suggest Mortal Reminder as fourth item, but I would say to go for Mortal Reminder only if enemy has, whether heavy tank team, or a lot of healing, like for example Dr. Mundo, Soraka, and so on. But if enemy team doesn't have healing or tanks, then I would go with Umbral Glaive instead because it is similar to Ghost Blade and Dusk Blade, but more importantly the passive allows you to reveal and clear enemy wards. The higher you rank the more important it becomes who has better vision control over the map. As an assassin the ability to deny enemies vision can give you great opportunities to sneak up to enemy squishies for a free kill. Also it's great item in case there is Teemo in enemy team as it will reveal his shrooms. As for the fifth item you want to go for some defensive stats because by that time in the game most champions are so strong that if you happen to make a mistake, then you could be easily deleted. To prevent that from happening, then you should pick Weather Guardian Angel or Sterix Gauge as fifth item. For the boots you should go with Mercury's Treads if enemy team has lots of crowd control or magic damage. Ninja Tabis if enemy team has a lot of attack damage. And Ionian Boots of Lucidity if enemy team has mixture of attack damage and magic damage with not a lot of CC. There are 3 enchantments that I would consider depending on the matchup. Stasis can be useful in some cases as you almost always end up in the middle of the fight, and then stasis can become very handy in order to survive. Go with Quicksilver enchant if enemy team has a lot of hard CC. Third enchant would be Protobelt for some more damage in the dash. That can be useful whether chasing the enemy or escaping from a sticky situation. At level 1 and 2 Zed is really weak, especially when you are against ranged champion. All you should be aiming to do during those early levels is to survive the damage and farm as much as you can. As you will unlock Shuriken first, then this ability will help you to last hit some minions due to its range and fairly low cooldown. Once you go for the last hit try to land it so that it would damage enemy as well, because this is going to be the preparation for the kill once you hit level 3. Level 3 is where you can start doing some combos to chunk enemy below 50%. Once that is achieved, then you might want to go for the kill with one of the combos I will show you guys very soon. Also remember not to mindlessly spam combos that involve Living Shadow, because this is your only escaping ability in case enemy jungler comes for a gank. So always be sure that it is safe to land combos, because at early levels Living Shadow cooldown is really long. Once you hit level 5, then it's time to shine. This is when you should be looking to assassinate whether enemy mid laner, or if that's complicated, then roam for a gank, or invade enemy jungle. Getting kills as early as possible with Zed is really important because he falls off in the late game. Many people will buy stasis enchant that is one of the best ways how to counter Zed's burst damage. For that reason it is especially important in early and mid game to be proactive on the map, by constantly looking for kills and objectives to get your team ahead to end the game. In case it goes to the late game when most of the enemy players have purchased stasis, then play with your team and wait someone else to engage on enemies, so that they would waste some main abilities, and then look to pick up a kill on one of the enemy carries. Very important part of being able to get ahead and snowball the game is the combos, which we are going to be looking next. Because Zed's combos are quite complicated, then I will refer to his abilities like they are on the PC version. We will start off with basic combo, that is mostly used in the laning phase to harass enemy laner. It is auto attack into E into Q, or Q auto attack and shadow slash. You want to use this combo typically into melee mid laner and not so often against ranged champion. It is very easy to pull off, and it also procs the electrocute for some extra damage. Then we have the most common WEQ combo. This is the bread and butter because this combo can be used for poke, for engage, for surprise etc. One of the most important parts of consistently hitting this combo comes down to positioning of your shadow relative to the enemy. You want to place the shadow in front of them, slightly to the side of them like this. You want it so that your Qs will be thrown straight at the target, while your shadow's Q will be angled to the opposite side you placed it on. Doing it this way will make it more difficult for enemy to dodge it, while it will be easier for you to land the shurikens. If you see that enemy is below 50%, then you might want to W to your shadow, basic attack the enemy to proc your passive, and then ignite if it looks to be enough to get a kill. Now it's time for the basic kill combo. This is a combo you might be able to one-shot some of the squishy enemy champions. You will start with W, follow up directly with your R, then E auto attack, and to finish off land 3 shurikens. In case you want to make even more damage, then you can also use second W cast, make one more auto attack and then R again to get back where you came from. It will definitely take time and practice to get combos like this done smoothly, but one thing to help you pull off those combos easier is with input buffering, which is basically queuing up your next ability while executing another action, so that it will instantly cast after the first ability is used. In order for it to work, you have to enable portrait lock from the settings. Once that is done, then the combo should be executed like this. First lock in opponent you want to attack, then place your shadow, then use the ultimate, and when the animation of the ultimate starts you can already press E. That will instantly cast after your ultimate. Once the animation is over, just auto attack and land your shurikens. This way it should be slightly easier to execute combos like this. Next combo is excellent for tower diving. Once again we will be using input buffering. So first lock your target, place your shadow out of tower range, cast your ultimate, and during ultimate's animation press W, E, and then aim your shurikens. There are actually a lot more Zed combos out there that would be just too much for one time to learn. So if you want to see separate video on every possible Zed combo, then let me know in the comments. If you found this guide useful, then be sure to subscribe. Anyway, that's it for today. Bye guys.